All right, what's up, guys? This video is going to be about why I think Kelly Olynyk is a good fit actually with the Miami Heat, and why I think he was a good pickup. Now, I'm going to start with age because I like younger players because if you get an older player on your team and you try to engrave this, culture in him, it's not really going to work. The only person that really worked with was James Johnson, but even then, when James Johnson came to the Heat, he was 29 years old last year. So, it's rare that it works on older players, but the younger players, you can engrave the culture that the Heat, engraves into younger players to make them a better player and to max out their potential. Now, like I said, Kelly Olynyk is 26 years old. He spent 4 years in the NBA, played 4 years with the Boston Celtics. He's a very average good player. And I actually think it's a big loss for the Celtics, whether they want to admit it or not. That's a big loss because if you think about it, let's look at the Celtics depth chart right now. I know they're not done, getting people. Depth chart or bench, it doesn't matter. All right. Hold up, guys. Okay, they got Isaiah Thomas. They got Jason Tatum. He's a small forward. Jaylen Brown. He's a shooting guard now because they just traded Avery Bradley. You got Gordon Hayward. You got Al Horford at center. Jay Crowder at small forward. I think they should have traded him, but whatever. I think the Celtics are doomed now. Honestly, I'll talk about that in another video, even though it doesn't have anything to do with the Heat. Well, it does, kind of. Then you got Marcus Smart off the bench as your point guard. I don't know if Gerald Green is still on the roster. The only other big man they have is Tyler Zeller, I think. And that's all. Like, they don't have Amir Johnson has just got, signed by the Sixers, so they don't have him anymore. Jordan Mickley, he's a power forward, but I don't even think he's not good as Kelly Olynyk. The only guy I see they have on their bench as a quality center is Tyler Zeller, and he's not good as Kelly Olynyk. He can't shoot. He can't stretch the floor like Kelly Olynyk. Jonas Jerebko could, but he's a small forward. I don't know, but I guess they could play him in power forward. But like I said, they don't have Al Horford is the only really big they have, if you think about it, and he's not a good rebounder. And I think he's overpaid for what he's worth because he didn't play that well last year with that max contract he had. So I think Kelly Olynyk is a big loss for the Celtics. I mean, I understand Gordon Hayward, why not? But you lose Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk. That's big. Those two are important to the Celtics' success. And I think those are big losses. You can't put all the onus on Isaiah Thomas and Gordon Hayward. You're gonna need someone to rebound the ball and stretch the floor too. I mean, Gordon Hayward can stretch the floor, but it's like this team is gonna be terrible, size wise. They're not gonna have any good big man that can rebound. Al Horford obviously is not a good rebounder, so Jay Crowder is your power forward. That's not good. He's very undersized. So the Celtics, they're a smaller team now, and I think that's gonna hurt them, honestly. But back to Kelly Olynyk. Yeah, Kelly Olynyk's a good pickup because I think we can mold him into even a better player. That when he scored 26 points against the Wizards in Game 7 last year in the playoffs, and that's just like a little that's like a little flash of what he can be consistent of. Same thing with James Johnson. James Johnson, when he was with the Toronto Raptors, he had flashes of good games, good put together games. And Kelly Olynyk has the same type of games, like this 26-point game or that 17 points, 5 assists, 3 steal game he had against the Golden State Warriors last year. Games like that, or that 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3. Like, this guy can really drop some points down, and I think it will help the Miami Heat, especially considering we have an unselfish offense and everyone gets the ball, everyone gets a piece of the ball, to score and stuff like that. So I think Kelly Olynyk is actually a good pickup, and I think he fits well with the Miami Heat. I think Gordon Hayward, honestly, I know we didn't sign him, but same thing with Kelly Olynyk or any other player. If you come to the Miami Heat and you buy into the culture and you buy into the offense that Espo is trying to, get you involved in, and they're trying to build it around Gordon Hayward, but even a piece like Kelly Olynyk, you're gonna score a lot of points. If you think about it, this is almost. I'm not trying to be crazy about it, but if you think about it, this is kind of this offense is similar to the Phoenix Sun, Mike D'Antoni type of offense, where a lot of people can score in this offense. If you think about it, Hassan Whiteside scores a lot of points. Dion Waiters scores a lot of points. James Johnson scores a lot of points. Gordon Dragic can score a lot of points. I think Justice Winslow had a few games last year where he scored a lot of points. Even though his shot is not that good, but I'll talk about him in another video. Guys like him. Hell, even Willie Reed came off the bench one time and scored a few points. Like, a lot of, Tyler Johnson, I forgot about him. Josh Richardson. A lot of guys on this roster can go off for 20 points. And I think Kelly Olynyk having that ability already to go off for 20 points, nearly 30 points, I think he would fit perfectly in this roster. Now, do I agree with his contract? No. He's not getting paid more than James Johnson, and he's barely not getting paid more than Dion Waiters. But still, I think that contract's a little too big for him. But maybe if we can develop him into a very good stretch four, I think that contract may be worth it at the end of his term with the Heat. But I think he's obviously, people say he's replacement from what's his name? Josh McRoberts. No, I think he's more of a replacement for Chris Bosh. Obviously, he's not Chris Bosh. He's not Mr. CB1, but he can stretch the floor. He can rebound a little. He's probably going to work on his rebounding and defense with the Heat. But he can spread the floor. Like I said, he has a size like Chris Bosh, and I think his defense is not terrible. So I think he can actually be somewhat of a replacement for Bosh, and I think looking Kelly Olynyk's way is a good way to look at it, because it gives Hassan Whiteside a lot of room down there. Because coming into this season, I was thinking before we got Kelly Olynyk, we have to get Luke Babbitt back because he's the only guy that can space out. Even though he's not that good, but he can space out and spread the floor a little at power forward. I was thinking once we didn't sign Luke Babbitt back, I was like, Bam Adebayo, he's not going to space the floor for Whiteside. That's not going to work for both of them together. That's why I have him coming off the bench. And then you have Willie Reed. If we sign him back, it's not going to work. Literally, this is the guy I thought that was going to start because I know they're going to, I think they're going to keep James Johnson on the bench just to have the best bench in the league or one of the best benches in the league. For the energy and stuff like that. I was thinking, White. I forgot his first name. I keep or Carl White or Carl White, something like that. He's in the summer league also, but I thought they were gonna just start him at small power forward with Hassan Whiteside to space out the floor because I literally thought we need a stretch four to play with Whiteside, but we got him. We got him in Kelly Olynyk. So I think they're gonna start him next year. Why not? He's not that bad. I think it's time for him to start anyway, and bring James Johnson off the bench. Obviously, James Johnson will have way more minutes than him, but James Johnson is a spark off the bench that you need anyway. So yeah, you start Kelly Olynyk, bring JJ off the bench, give JJ more minutes than Kelly Olynyk, but have Kelly Olynyk be that next big guy, close to right about Hassan Whiteside, so the offense could work way better, and Gordon Dragic and Dion Waiters can drive into the paint more, Because that's the whole point of, you got to look at things like, you got to look at it like that. Kelly Olynyk is here for a lot of reasons, guys. A lot of Heat fans were like, they were bummed. They're like, we got this bum. I'm like, he's not a bum, guys. He's actually he's a quality player. Can he play a little better? Yeah, but he's not a bum, man. He's not a bum. He's pretty good. So I think Kelly Olynyk can work pretty good in his offense. And he can get better defensively. And he's a big guy. He's a big body. So that makes us even a more bigger team. I think our front court is stacked now. Our front court is very stacked. So I think I hope we get Willie Reed back because I really like Willie Reed. But it looks like we're not going to get him because of Kelly Olynyk. But I do like this Kelly Olynyk move now that I'm starting to see how he will work in this offense. I mean, you guys give me what you think. I think Kelly Olynyk will work very well. This offense really needs a stretch for him. We got him. Maybe a little overpriced, but we got something away from the rival, and that's all that matters. You take away from the rival. That's all that matters. And then Detroit, they took, Avery Bradley away from Boston. So Boston may have gotten Gordon Hayward, but their depth is it's just disappearing. And they're becoming a smaller team. And their defense is probably not going to be the same. Like, I don't know how Isaiah Thomas is going to be protected on defense now. How is he going to be, saved on defense? Like, because he doesn't have that shit. I have a speech impediment, guys, a little bit, but he doesn't have that defensive help that Avery Bradley presented to him. That was their best defender, and now he's gone, which I think was a terrible trade. They shouldn't have traded Crowder, but who knows? But I think that was a huge, devastating loss for Boston, even more than Kelly Olynyk. So I think, and I'm gonna do a whole ranking video probably later on this week, maybe today. You never know. But it's probably going to be after free agency. I'm going to do a ranking video of what I see them Heat doing next season and what seed I see them getting. But, yeah. Like I said, this is a good pickup. You guys, give me your comments, what you think about this, and like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. Heat Lifer 305 out. I'm coming with a few more videos today. Peace.